Alright guys, welcome back to Formula 1 news, and despite the monstrous lead that Max Verstappen and Red Bull currently hold in both championships, Red Bull have not ruled out the possibility of team orders as the season progresses. If necessary, they may well be willing, as we've seen in the past, to prioritise Verstappen over Perez to make sure they lock up the championship as swiftly and as easily as possible. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Quick update here on former Red Bull driver Daniel Riccardo on the possibility of the Alpine switch. We saw yesterday that Otmar, the team principal at Alpine, seems kind of happy to back Daniel and bring him back to the team, but apparently the Renault CEO wants Mick Schumacher there, so there might be a bit of a tussle between these two drivers. We saw yesterday that it's far from guaranteed that Riccardo, after leaving McLaren with Piastri taking his spot, will just go back to Renault and Alpine. It could be Mick Schumacher instead. I would still slightly favour Riccardo, but these apparently are now the two key candidates to replace Alonso next season. Let's discuss what Red Bull are talking about, right? Because they have, Max Verstappen has an 80-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. Red Bull have an even more significant advantage than that in the Constructors. That's signed, sealed, and delivered. But they're not taking anything for granted, according to Christian Horner. He probably knows they've got this one locked up, right? Ferrari, even if Charles Leclerc wins, 3 races in a row, Max has 3 DNFs, he's still not going to catch him up in the Drivers. So, it would take an absolute collapse from Red Bull to choke this one away. It's probably not going to happen. But they're taking nothing for granted. And they've also kind of implied that team orders could be on the cards potentially. Of course, we saw back in Spain the discussion about team orders letting Max through. It happened on a couple of occasions where maybe they could have let Perez through. They did not, and kind of prioritised Verstappen's race. It's a sensible thing for Red Bull to do. They don't say it outright that they have a number one driver, but that is effectively their policy. Verstappen's the guy. Perez is the support cast. Yes, he might occasionally outperform Max in certain races and certain weekends, but it's not going to happen on a consistent basis. And he was actually only 15 points behind after winning the Monaco Grand Prix not that long ago. Now he's 85 points back, just behind, I think, Charles Leclerc in the championship, 5 points behind him. But he was kind of asked at Horner, okay, are you going to reach the point where you've got to favour Verstappen over Perez? Because it's obvious who the championship challenger here is going to be. And he says, look, a classic Christian Horner kind of, politician's response, but the team will just do the best that we can to maximise each result, each opportunity that we have. Max is in a strong place in the drivers, but we've seen how quickly things can turn around. We're taking nothing for granted. There's still a lot of racing still to do and a sprint race still to come, I'm guessing at Brazil. We are going to treat each weekend as we have done so far this year and look to maximise our points versus our competitors. So, it's a rather interesting one. Of course, effectively what he said here is nothing at all, but what he hasn't done is denied the possibility of team orders coming into play. I think by his answer here, especially the first sentence, he's effectively saying, look, yes, if we have to prioritise Verstappen over Perez for points for drivers or whatever, we're going to do exactly that. And I think really that does kind of give an indication to a certain degree on maybe what has gone wrong with the Ferrari camp, because Mercedes and Red Bull, even though they might not say who their number one guy is, are not really afraid to prioritize that guy if push comes to shove and the world championship is on the line. Obviously Red Bull have this locked up anyway, it seems, but still, if it comes down to Verstappen has a couple of mechanical DNFs and Leclerc's closing the gap, they're not afraid to say Verstappen, go through on Perez, get the P1 here, lock up the points, whereas Ferrari don't seem so eager to do exactly that, right? So far this season, there's a few strategical decisions that they have made that have, benefited Sainz over Leclerc, which is questionable given the championship standings as they were at the start of the season, and probably, yes, they wouldn't have won this championship anyway with mistakes and, of course, engine failures and stuff like this, and more strategic errors, but, if they'd have taken the mindset after 3 or 4 races, that, look, if we realistically want to challenge for this championship because of the way that Red Bull operate and their consistency, we're going to have to start prioritising Leclerc. They didn't do that, and that might be one of the things that's costed them here. And even Helmut Marko saying that Perez, right, he was pretty good for a time, Baku, Monaco, but since then he's kind of returned to his normal level. Now the car is maybe suiting Max a little bit better, so maybe that's one of the explanations. I guess we'll see how the second half of the season progresses, but yeah, maybe food for thought for Ferrari here, because Red Bull, despite their lead, are not exactly ruling things out, and maybe Ferrari might have to take on a similar philosophy if they want to still reap the rewards in future seasons. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.